What's up, YouTube? Capital G here. Got some Silent Swordsman action for you guys to check out in this duel. This is going to be one of those duels that shows the consequences of trying to flex on your opponent on basically just not respecting the code of the duelist, and what happens when you just taunt your opponent and you could easily win the duel, but you dance around and you play with your food and you ultimately don't seal the deal and your opponent ends up winning. This really feels like one of those duels where you kind of just snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. I know that's the opposite of how the saying is supposed to go, but believe me, that's actually a very good representation of what happens here. So we got Silent Swordsman down at the bottom. It is a hero variant. Obviously, you know that because you see not only Rhoda in his opening hand, but multiple copies of Destiny Draw. Oh, if only Stratos was unbanned, this hand would be magnificent, but you know, we can't have everything. Silent Swordsman is a card that I really like a lot, but not really enough support for, I mean, I guess it's an archetype, but it's only like 3 cards, I guess, and I'm not counting like the little guys. I'm really just counting Silent Swordsman, Silent Slash, or Silent Sword Slash, which is the card people play alongside of it, and then like Silent Swordsman level 7. That's really all people play. They don't really play like level 5 or any of the other cards. And then at the top, we'll just call this Grinder Golem Turbo, because pretty much like the only relevant card that he's going to summon. He will summon Luna a couple of times, but that's pretty much it. So let's go ahead and roll it. He's probably going to start with Rhoda. That was predictable. Goes for Vision Hero Vion. He sends the copy of Shadow Mist to the graveyard so that obviously he can get Malicious in the Grave from D-Draw. Summons a copy of Destiny Hero Dangerous, and then he summons his nice Silent Swordsman. I think he got baited here. I usually wouldn't negate the first spell because then you get wrecked by Raigeki, but it's perfectly fine because obviously Silent Swordsman is going to summon level 7. His opponent is going to start with the prototypical Grinder Golem shenanigans, which usually means summoning Akashic, then summoning Grinder Golem back, going for Security Dragon, and then turning that into a Firewall Dragon, then activating Akashic's effect. Actually, he does that first, gets himself a copy of Dandelion in the graveyard. At this point, I was like, okay, this guy should clearly pop off and just win the duel if he doesn't fuck around. He uses, what's it called? He uses Hidden Armory for some reason. Keep in mind, guys, all spell cards are negated, so there's no point of activating them. He's going to use Firewall Dragon's effect. Now, here's the problem, right? He summons, at this point, he already has a big enough field. So why don't you just bounce this and win the duel? Or at least attempt to bounce the copy of the level 7 Silent Swordsman. Like, stop bouncing your Grinder Golem. Your Grinder Golem is not really giving you that much more, it's not giving you that much more value as you see him like extra link here. And he continues to go Grinder Golem, ignoring the Swordsman. I guess he felt like he could have just gotten rid of it whenever he wants. He finally decides he is going to try and bounce the Silent Swordsman. The problem is he's already committed all of his, like, he's locked in all of his link monsters, and his opponent then changed Silent Sword Slash. So now obviously it gains 1500 attack and defense, and it's unaffected by all other card effects. And this card cannot be, like, you cannot negate this activation of this card. So if he even had some counter trap or something weird on the field, he wouldn't be able to do anything. So now he is the biggest card on the field. And again, the problem is he kind of locked up his extra monster zone. Now he goes in for Skull Deep, which I guess is something, but I don't know. I feel like he probably should have went for like Borolo Dragon or something. Plays 1 day a piece, and I guess he didn't learn from when he played the copy of Hidden Armory, because yeah, all spells on the field are negated, and now he is potentially going to get blown out by Raigeki. It just depends on the draw, and he's going to go for, or well, he did draw because of the Destiny Hero that he just banished, and he got the perfect card too, as he's going to summon his little Silent Swordsman. He activates that Raigeki in his hand, which would have been negated had he had level 7 on the field, but then he just summons that, and his opponent ends up rage quitting. And I just don't understand why he kept going Grinder Golem. He probably should have tried to get Silent Swordsman 7 off the field, and you guys are probably saying, well, Cap, what if his opponent just would have used the Slash? That would have been fine, but then he would have actually known the path to take the victory instead of committing to all of these useless Firewall Dragons like he would have known. So one of the first cards I would have tried to get off the field would have been the Swordsman. Not only would it have opened up his spell cards so he could have still used them, but he would have actually known how to potentially deal with it in the event that his opponent did have a counter, which obviously he did. So yeah, that's one of them duels where he was trying to flex all game with a stupid grinder golem, which by the way, is ultimately still in his hand, or was it in the graveyard for? I'm pretty sure it still was in his hand right there. Yeah, still in his hand. Tried to flex, went through almost his entire extra deck, and ultimately ends up losing the duel. So whatever you guys think, leave it in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already, and turn on those notifications for daily videos. Is this guy playing OCG? He has wasn't Dandelion in the graveyard? I feel like this guy's playing an OCG deck because he has double Dandelion. Pretty sure Dandelion's limited in the TCG, right? Yeah, I think it's at 1 here.